haven't posted in a couple of months now with things related to finance and stuff, but I'm back now with one of the most common questions that people get all over the world, and it's how can I achieve financial freedom the fastest? Well, obviously, there's no easy, specific way to do it, so I'm sorry if you came for that, but I can give a step-by-step breakdown on how that's possible, and it's with the help of someone. Now, this method will give you the best percent chance of you being financially free as possible, so I'd recommend getting started with this as soon as possible so you can achieve it sooner in your lifetime. So, let's get right into it. Now I have my browser open and we're going to look up Happy Asian Panda. And now that we have it loaded up, as you can scroll down to here until you see the Reddit version, click on that, and it should get you to where you need to be. Now this subreddit is really nice, so if you want to check it out and join, feel free to do so, but we will get started on this. Let me zoom in on this. And as you can see, this PDF or method has been created by Happy Asian Panda, who's a user out there. We don't know who he is, but he's created a very nice spreadsheet on a step-by-step method on how to use it. And I've gone through this myself. I use this myself, and we're gonna go through this and hopefully explain some things on how you can do this as well. So starting off, we have the gray section, which is, as you can see over here, section 0, which is budget and essentials. So this is the absolute basics you need to do to achieve it. So obviously the first step is to create a budget. Obviously to create a budget you need to know what your expenditures are, where your income is coming from, and budget it accordingly so you know how much money you're saving and how much money you have left over to spend for yourself. After that, make sure you pay your rent, which is important because if you don't pay rent, you don't have a house to live, so you can't continue. Make sure you're buying food and groceries to keep yourself eating food because it's basic necessities, essential items, income earning expenses, healthcare, etc. Making minimum payments is an added extra to make sure you're not in debt. So this basic level is to make sure you have all your basic necessities, you have your bare essentials, you have good health, you have all your debts paid off, and now you can begin the real thing. Now let's start with section 2, which is employer match and emergency fund. Now this is the absolute backbone of what you should be doing to achieve financial freedom. And number 1 is building an emergency fund. Now an emergency fund should have about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So in case you lose your job for whatever it may be, as COVID has happened, people have lost their jobs, and most people had emergency funds so you can keep their families going, etc. But make sure you have 3 to 6 months worth of expenditures ready. So in case you lose a job, while you're looking for a job, you can use that to make sure you're not homeless and stuff like that. Next, evaluate your non-essential items and reduce your expenses. Say you have subscriptions, say you're paying for Netflix, Hulu, ESPN, Disney Plus. If you don't use some of them, you can cancel it. It'll save you money in the long run. I think Netflix is $25 a month now, and if you multiply that by 12, that's a lot you're spending on Netflix per month. So make of that what you will. Cancel any unnecessary subscriptions. See how much you're spending on a variety of things, which goes back to the budget. So see how much you're spending and plan accordingly. Next up, keep track of your expenses, which goes into budget, and consider making an investment policy statement, IPS. So this you can also do to make sure you have a good investment strategy, but again, it's not necessary if you know what you're doing. Next up, if you're in a job, this helps a lot, is if your employer offers a retirement account with an employer match. Now this is referring to a 401k, and many employers offer a 401k match, so they'll match your donation to the dollar amount, which I would recommend maxing it out so you can get extra contribution going to your paycheck, which doesn't hurt you at all. As I said before, make sure you match it. Pay all your high interest so you can lower your interest. Maybe get a higher credit score in the meantime as well. And do you have stable, unstable job prospects? So this is for people if you're looking for a job, etc. As it says before, if it's stable, you can increase your emergency fund to 3 months living expense, like I said before. Or you can do the 6 to 12 months if it's unstable. So if you're kind of on the wavy lengths of finding a job, you might want a bigger emergency fund so you have more room to work with, but that's all up to the person. Next up, you have the orange section, which is debt reduction. Again, you may have some debts which can play a big burden in financial freedom, so make sure you're paying that off, which is what this section is for. So figure out if you have any debt. Maybe you have college funds you have to pay off, hospital bills, mortgages, etc. And see if you can reduce the interest rate on that so you can get a cheaper rate if you have a higher credit score, or just pay it off in full, because you don't want that debt and paying interest on it on the side as well while you're trying to get financial freedom, because it will not help you. Now that we got out of the way, we can get started with our main juice, which is the purple section, which is health savings account, which is your HSA. You may have heard this term before, and it's a nice thing. So let's go through with it. So figure out what kind of medical insurance you have. So if you go to the hospital a lot, maybe you have a lot of medical needs, you may want more money in your HSA. It all depends. You can read up on this. It depends on the person as well, of course. So make sure you have a good HSA plan in case you never know what kind of hospital bill you may encounter, which can get pretty expensive. Contribute to your HSA so you don't have to pay a large amount out of pocket if you go to the hospital eventually. So this section in general is just making sure HSA is done, so just in case something bad happens to you or your family or someone in need, you have that money left over so you don't have to pay out of pocket. Next up is the green, which is IRAs or retirement accounts. Now, this in general, you have to have an income for, because mostly you need a stable income for you to achieve this. So if you don't have earned income, you can entirely skip the step, as you can see from this line right here. But if you do, you can contribute to an IRA, which is a retirement account. Now this depends on your income level. If you are making more than 122k, or if you're married and are making more than 193k joint income, you can max out your traditional IRA, convert to a Roth IRA, which is known as a backdoor Roth IRA, as you can see. But this is all money that you can put in an account up to 6k and invest in it. And at the age of 55 and a half or 65 and a half, I'm not sure which one it is, that money will be out tax free, so you won't be taxed on your gains. Now a traditional IRA 401k, as you know, does tax you on gains that you make in an IRA, so that's the main difference between the two. But yeah, based on your income level, you can do the steps. You can max it out and convert it. You can completely max it out and etc. But if you make less, it may vary because you don't have a high income. But keep in mind, it's 6k max per year for a Roth IRA. 401k is different. Next up, we got 2 more sections left. So we got blue and red. The blue section is ESPs, savings, and just making sure you have some tax advantage accounts to your benefit. So many employers offer stock options as a form of in your salary. When you ask someone as an adult 20-30s what kind of job you have and ask them for a salary, you may hear the term, oh, it's 130 with add-ons or 120 with add-ons, which in general is lots of benefits, maybe stock options that are included in their salary as well. So figure out whether you should contribute to it or not. Most of the time you want to cash out immediately because it is volatile and you don't know what may happen. So cash it out, use it as a signing bonus or just straight up bonus to begin with, and move from there. Yeah, as you can see, you can use that HSA savings account for college for your kids, etc. Tax advantage accounts to make sure you're trying to pay less taxes, so you can use the tax book to your benefit, which is available online for you to use. And yeah, this is just making sure your tax benefit is being used to your benefit. If you're not entirely sure, you can always hire a person that knows what they're doing with tax. Hire a very good one, so they know they're doing the best for you, so you can pay the least. Yeah, I would recommend hiring a good tax lawyer, or I would recommend hiring a good financial advisor, because tax benefits in around tax paying time, which is around February, I think, can get a bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing, to put it in simpler terms. But hiring a really good one can help you in the long run to pay less taxes. And I look at it this way: I would rather pay a lot for a really, really good one to pay less taxes than the cheap one and pay more, because I think if you're making good money, there should be more benefit hiring an expensive one, because you'll be saving more money that way in the long run. Now, going back to the sheet, finish the tax benefits ones. Now let's go to the red section, which is our final section, which is after-tax 401ks, education accounts, etc. So if you have maxed out your 401ks, your Roth IRAs, etc., make sure all your incomes are in tax advantage accounts, and see if you can contribute to a 529, as it says here. Now you can start investing into a brokerage, etc. You can tax harvest. You can gain some money investing with tax benefits. See if you're gonna get a higher credit score. Like I said before here, donate to charities when it comes near time to make sure you are paying the least amount of taxes, because it can be a tax write-off. If you want a video on creating a charity so you can pay less taxes, let me know and I'll make that too. And yeah, the last step is rebalancing your portfolio allocations to make sure they're the best for you, which again helps if you have a financial advisor. But yeah, that's basically it. This whole thing may not be what you wanted, but it is the highest percentage chance of you becoming financially independent. It's not the cheap stuff like, oh, make sure you can invest in this, make sure you bet on this, make sure you gamble, make sure you're investing in Apple, the S&P 500, none of that bullshit. It's make sure what is guaranteed to work. No debt, hire a good financial advisor to help with taxes, make sure your retirement accounts are in order based on your income level, get a good HSA account so you don't have to pay out of pocket for hospital bills, and make sure at the end of the day you're paying the least amount that you can for tax purposes, because it will go a mile in the long run. And if you do that all the way, you should be financially independent, and my guarantee is you will be financially independent 10 years faster than if you don't follow this step by step. It's all laid out for you. There's a multiple version of this. This is the most updated one, and this is guaranteed to work. The S&P 500 isn't even guaranteed. You get 7.1% annual return per year. That's still an if. That's based on average returns. This is a guaranteed 100% to work. It's a slow process, but if you're doing it right, you're making good money, you're doing all your stuff correctly, this will get you what you need to get. As I said before, this is really, really good. I would recommend printing this out. Make sure you have it in saved, download it maybe, look up Happy Asian Panda. It'll be used to your benefit. I just wanted to spread the word of how good this diamond is in a sea of nothingness, which is the internet. So I do think it's very beneficial for this to be out here for everyone to see, for the public to use and to use to your advantage. has lots of helpful information with IRAs, HSAs, W-2s, ESAs, 529s, etc. And use it to your advantage. It's free knowledge, and I don't see why you wouldn't use it. Okay? So that leads to the end of this video, and like I said before, I'm back for good, making 2 videos a week. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see y'all next time. See y'all later.